What kind of horror is the scariest one for you? What terrifies you the most? What lurks in the darkness of your mind? What is that breaking point for you? For quite a lot of people, myself included, it is religious horror. Now, let's not get offended. Let's just explore. Welcome, this is Check That Book, a special cozy place where we get acquainted with arguably the most disturbing literature ever written, and sometimes we compare the original written piece to its film adaptation. And today we're taking a look at the infamous The Exorcist, originally by William Peter Blatty. That was quite a shocking novel at the time, and understandably so. Much like its film adaptation, people were in for a wee bit of a shock. William Friedkin's The Exorcist, it simplifies our characters a lot. However, it's done in order to maintain the appropriate pacing. We have some internal conflicts missing from the film, which, again, I've said this many times before, and I will say it again, it is very common when it comes to a film adaptation. So what is the fuss all about? I mean, I've talked about The Exorcist, the novel, before. The link will be in the description, as usual. But this film, I am no movie critic. By no means. I'm just a sincere admirer of the genre, and religious horror happens to be one of the very few things that genuinely terrify me. And that comes from a person who is not really I'm an agnostic. I don't hide that information. Simple as that. I'm an open-minded person, you see, and I'm open-minded towards many things, specifically when it comes to art and various forms of it, and cinema, literature, in specifically, but religion, I believe, if we step away from The Exorcist for a second, both in cinema and literature, it has always terrified me. It has terrified me to the point where I couldn't watch certain scenes when it was a movie. A good example would be actually not The Exorcist. To me, personally, I will express my personal opinion on The Exorcist later, towards the end of the video, but one of the good examples of a decent horror when it comes to cinematography, religious horror, I would say The Rite with Anthony Hopkins, Sir Anthony Hopkins, and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Those two films genuinely terrified me. Those two examples. I am yet to figure out why. Is it the religious horror in particular that grasps my attention so? I know that for the next an hour and a half, if it's a film, or for the next, a couple of weeks, whilst I'll be reading a religious piece, a fictional religious piece, I will be engaged. I will be involved, and I know for sure that this is not going to be a light read or a light watch. So comment down below if this works for you as well. If religious horror fascinates you or terrifies you as much as it does me. I get genuine goosebumps sometimes. Why is it? I don't know. Let's speculate in the comment section down below. Maybe I am a sinner and I deserve to be afraid of this. Well, I mean, with all due respect, usually in paintings, in cinematography, and in literature, usually those pieces do their job. They terrify. Remember I talked about Hieronymus Bosch and his religious pieces? Well, I believe that Bosch's work, why I love his work genuinely interests me and scares me to a level. It's based on religion. If you do that, you get punished, and those punishments look terrifying. This is an interesting topic for developing. So yes, if you want to chat about that, maybe we could also cover this wee subject during our live stream, which will happen sometime. I'm getting myself together in order to do this stream. But for now, let's speak about The Exorcist. The novel offers this deeper exploration of religious and existential questions. It focuses on even on the clash between science and faith, which is always an interesting thing to see because that's been going on for centuries with people, and the meaning of suffering, of course. I mean, it's a very prominent subject, specifically when it comes to Catholic Church, and usually those films and books are based around the Catholic branch of religion. While the film it retains some of these themes, like I mentioned, but the focus is more on the horror elements and visual spectacle rather than philosophical depth. Now, stepping a bit deeper into the territory of theology, we have the exorcism rite itself. In the film, these scenes are highly dramatic and visually intense, but less focused on the procedural aspects, unlike in the novel. Because in the novel, we have a lot of symbolism and what it means in confronting demonic possession. But the movie again simplifies it a bit. Another difference I would point out is Chris's perspective. Whilst in the novel she is kind of the central of attention, with much of the story going on through her eyes. In the film, her emotional journey is a bit on the background, really. There is less focus on her emotional struggles, which again, I feel like I said it a million times, but it's quite common. We witness her escalating to pure terror. After all, it is a horror movie. There is also the moment with language and explicit content. The book contains quite a bit of descriptions that are explicit and, well, reader discretion advised, specifically around Regan's behavior. Regan is the girl who gets possessed. If you don't know, then rewatch my video or watch the goddamn film. So we have the demon's vulgar language. The movie, it retains much of this explicit content, but some of the more extreme elements, such as Regan's physical decay, are actually toned down or depicted more symbolically. The novel has more of a reflective tone. Towards the end, they have this philosophical connection there. There's a big emphasis and lingering questions about faith and the nature of evil and what it all means. So it's interesting to read, but the movie, albeit it ends on a hopeful note, it's quite covered in mystery, in my opinion, which I like, and I believe that's one of the aspects that is terrifying about this genre. The conclusion is minimalized there, and I don't know. Now, my opinion, I needed to share it with you. I promised I would. To me, this film, despite me being genuinely, petrified of the religious horror and enjoying it on exactly the right level. What's it meant to do? It does what's it meant to do. But The Exorcist, this adaptation, to me, my apologies, is just my perception. To me, it's a comedy. And yes, we could talk about how awesome and desensitized I have become with years, but no, truly, the film, it's less contextualized, and like I've mentioned, it's quite dramatic. But I'll give it that. It was shocking for its time, and this film deserves all the credit that it received. The supernatural elements are portrayed very well. There's the emphasis on the supernatural occurrences, leaving little ambiguity, if you ask me. Unlike the novel, where the theme is more psychological, and we keep on thinking to ourselves, is this possession truly a demonic thing, or is this a manifestation of a psychological illness? The film doesn't explore this deeply at all, in my opinion. The novel relies on readers' imagination, of course, and it's more psychological than it is physiological, well, obviously, but it's not as descriptive. The movie, dramatic, descriptive, in your face, shocking. Back at the time, sure. Today, it's still a great film, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy it sometimes, but I enjoy it on the same level as I would enjoy a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a good popcorn entertainment, with a seed of something terrifying, which is why I like those films and pieces of literature. It has something there. There's the undertone that is giving you chills. Whether we pick a book or the film, both are good. If you like to be entertained dramatically and spooked, yes, sure, watch the film. But if you want a bit of a deeper dive, read William Peter Blatty.
Hello, Reagan. I'm a friend of your mother's. I'd like to help you.
You might loosen the straps, son.
I'm afraid you might hurt yourself, Reagan.
I'm not Reagan.
I see. Well, then, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Damien Karras.
And I'm the devil. Now kindly undo these straps.
If you're the devil, why not make the straps disappear?
That's much too vulgar a display of power, Karras.
Both versions are highly effective in their respective mediums, and I believe that is what makes a film adaptation and its original script interesting to compare. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like disturbing content, consider giving this video a boost in the form of an erect thumb, and make sure to subscribe for more. And wash your cunt bed, you bitch!